Hey guys, how's it going? Twigs here, and I'm getting around to doing the video that you've probably seen other content creators doing when it comes to content creators that cover Genshin and Star Rail and stuff that just involves Hoyoverse, but more specifically Genshin Impact. So, as you guys have probably been noticing, the player base has been revolting against Genshin Impact. They've been starting a rebellion, a boycott, whatever you want to call it. And it really started with the CN player base because of what happened, what went down in the 4.4 update live stream. The player base pretty much said, we're sick of this shit. We're going to start unfollowing you when it comes to our version of TikTok, when it comes to their version of YouTube, which is called Bilibili, and other platforms as well. And now that the CN player base has noticed this, which has been something that the global player base has been bitching about for years now, but apparently the CN player base has now finally had enough of it. Now us global players are like, hey, we've been saying this all along. All right, guys, let's join in. It's finally the time. And the reason is because Hoyoverse / Genshin Impact doesn't really care about what the global players think. It's the CM players that they apparently care about. But now is the time. The CM players are finally bitching, so we're going to join in on bitching. But let me point to the moment that set the CM players off. By the way, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Hitting that like button helps out the video. And hitting that subscribe button helps us grow the channel over here. I would appreciate that a lot. And hit that notification bell while you're at it. So, this is the moment that set the CM players off. And to thank everyone for their support and company over the past year, we're going to use the in-game mail to send you all 3 intertwined fates. 3 intertwined fates, which is 3 pulls, 3 wishes, for 3 years. 3 years of supporting them, we get 3 wishes. That is basically a slap in the face for 3 years of player dedication to this game. Keep in mind, it takes 10 wishes, 10 pulls to get a guaranteed 4-star character. It takes roughly 85, 87-ish pulls to guarantee yourself a 5-star character. 3 wishes, more than likely, is going to get you 3 blues. More than likely is going to get you 3 blues. That is pennies. That is, like I said, it's a slap in the face to 3 years of dedication to their game. And this is what the Genshin Impact team thinks of their player base. That their dedication for 3 years is just worth 3 wishes, 3 pulls. And that's what set the CM players off. They're like, this is what you guys think of us? You think we're just worth our 3 years of dedication, our 3 years of retention that we added to this game? It's just worth 3 pulls? Fuck you. That's basically it. Definitely subscribe to Tibet Times. Definitely check out his video. I will link the video in the description below. So definitely check out Tibet Times. They make good content when it covers Genshin news.
I say we lower the sails, Beidou. A storm is coming.
Oh yes,
a storm is brewing in Genshin, but this time it's not because of Raiden Shogun.
Terrible joke.
Players are in open revolt, protesting what they perceive as a stingy offering of rewards during the upcoming Lantern Rite Festival.
That's what I just covered.
This was all happening in China, at least a few days ago, but now, this isn't a local squall anymore. The feelings of discontent have whipped across the globe, uniting the global community with the Chinese players.
That it has.
If you watched the Honkai Star Rail's 2.0 special program yesterday,
and this is part of the reason why I wanted to watch this video, is because it's going to cover how Honkai Star Rail's 2.0 special program has basically added fuel to the fire, and it has.
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But if you missed it, let me tell you that the chat was filled with comments like Genshin could never and
The Genshin could never thing, as you guys probably already know, stems from Honkai Star Rail literally giving away a really good 5-star character in Dr. Ratio. And this isn't a typical Aloy thing. Remember a few years ago, I think it was a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, Genshin did a little crossover with Horizon Zero Dawn, added Aloy to the game, and Aloy is honestly a dog shit character. Her damage is middling, she can't get constellations, therefore there is no way to like improve her. And she's a terrible character, whereas Dr. Ratio is one of the best single target damage dealers in the game and is absolutely worth logging on and getting that character and building him because he is as good as everyone is saying he is. And they gave us that character for free out of appreciation for helping get the game award at the Game Awards. And Genshin has won the game, best mobile game at the Game Awards, I think 2 years, and they didn't give us shit other than a 10 pull, just one 10 pull. Whereas we got a free, really good 5-star,
demanding endgame content. Global players might not have joined the forces with CN players, and this wouldn't be happening at all if some content creators had not covered this topic. But thanks to them, they decided to cover this topic. These are not small creators, they have a big following, and hence, it seems that everyone has decided to jump in. Just look at this comment on my video for example. And boy, when they announced the 20 free pulls during yesterday's livestream, it totally blew up.
Yes. So this is how Honkai Star Rail basically added fuel to the fire. So over the past several updates for Honkai Star Rail, there has been a login event that will net you 10 pulls during the course of the login event. And that's what I was trying to emphasize, is that literally there has been a login event that's just given us 10 free pulls every update. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one's coming up. So that's 9. And then we have the free Dr. Ratio. This is the one where we're going to get right out of the gate 10 free wishes from the mail. And then what else is going to be there? Because this is a 2.0. This is a big update for Honkai Star Rail that's adding more story progression, a new area to explore. There's just going to be so much with Honkai Star Rail, and that's all good PR. And that's what I don't think the Genshin team understands. Is good PR can help market your game. Word of mouth is one of the best ways to get your game's name out there for people to hear. Because when everyone's talking good about your game, that people are going to hear that, people are going to catch on to that, and they're going to be like, well, I heard this game's really good. I heard this game is like really rewarding. Let me log in and try that shit, bro. And that is what Honkai Star Rail is capitalizing on. It's good word of mouth. When you got negativity surrounding your game, like Genshin does, it creates a stigmatism, and people are kind of hesitant to even try because, I heard this game's not that rewarding. I heard this game's kind of stingy. I heard this game's got kind of a mixed bag of apples when it comes to its PR, what it's got going on. I don't know if I want to jump into it. But this game over here, people are talking like really good stuff about it. I might try that game out. And that's what Genshin doesn't understand is What really sells a game is when it's got good, positive messaging around it.
Star Rail, the meager lantern right spoils felt like a slap in the face. This disparity, particularly during a culturally significant event like Lunar New Year, has ignited a wave of frustration that has quickly escalated into a full-blown online protest. And things might get worse if hoyoverse decides not to address this issue. As we all know, Chinese players took to platforms like Bilibili, the Chinese streaming giant, and started review bombing.
Bilibili is China's version of YouTube. FYI.
The official Genshin Impact accounts on Bilibili and Weibo have lost more than 3 million followers in a matter of few days. The message is clear: the players are not pleased. But this has now taken a huge turn. The global Genshin Impact community, witnessing the protest of the CN players, quickly embraced the cause.
And that is because that is what we've been saying this whole time. The global community has been very critical of Genshin Impact when it comes to several aspects of the game. In game, there is practically no end game other than Spiral Abyss, and then the rewards. That has been the two things that the global community has been criticizing Genshin Impact for a very long time. Endgame and rewards.
Social media platforms like X and Reddit erupted in support, demanding better treatment.
And also quality of life. And by quality of life, I don't mean just like typical updates to just improve features. Yes, that is one. But also like, for example, character improvements. Dia has been a terrible 5-star out of the gates. Her kit has no real synergy other than like a few aspects of like her self-healing ability whenever her health gets to a... They could do like buffs to characters that are just terrible, but they don't do it. The only time they ever did it was Zhongli, and that was because the CN player base really loves Zhongli, because to them, Zhongli represents their culture. Understandable. But it was because the CN player base threw a huge fit over Zhongli's kit being meh, that the hoyoverse and the Genshin Impact team buffed him. And that was the only time they went in and did direct buffs to a particular character, and that was because the CM player base revolted. Every other time, because the global player base complained, for example, with Dia, they don't give a shit because they don't care about what the global player base says. They only really listen to the CM player base. And now that the CM player base is saying something, we're hopping on that train and we're seeing if we can ride it to change.
Even content creators joined this ongoing protest, expressing their disappointment and urging hoyoverse to acknowledge the players' concerns. The ripple effects of this protest extend beyond Genshin Impact. Franchises who partnered with Genshin Impact in the past, like Pizza Hut and KFC, are feeling the heat. Boycotts and negative reviews targeting these brands have sprung up, serving as a stark reminder that player anger can have real-world consequences as well.
And that is what I was kind of speaking of earlier, is that by going not just to their version of YouTube and their version of TikTok and unfollowing en masse, but also going to the sponsors and unfollowing and so on and so forth, that can make the sponsors want to go to the company and say, hey, we're getting flack for whatever it is you're doing. Can you do something about it so we can stop getting caught in the crossfire? If you don't, we might have to look at our sponsorship agreement, and you know what, you catch what I'm saying. Basically threatening to pull their sponsorship.
At any rate, Hoyoverse needs to address this issue as soon as possible, and the deadline is the 31st of January, because that's when version 4.4 is coming out. And if Hoyoverse doesn't do anything about this, then they might lose millions of dollars. What are your thoughts and opinions on this matter? Let me know in the comments below. I know that I've been saying this a lot, but please subscribe to the channel as we're very close to 50,000 subscribers.
Okay, so first off, definitely, like I said, check out Tibet Times. Definitely head over to their video and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. They make really good content when it comes to Genshin news, but on that note, at the very end, I'm definitely going to get to that. Remember that in the Genshin Impact 4.4 trailer, you got to keep this in mind, that we're going to get through a total of 10 intertwined fates by a login event, and we're going to get a total of 3 intertwined fates coming in through mail, the mail feature. This is covering the login event. 1 wish on day 1, then on day 3 we get 2, on day 5 we get another 2, and then on day 7 we get a 5. A total of 10 for the daily login event. So that is this right here. Then, through the mail feature, 1 on the 24th of February, a second on the 26th of February, and then a third wish on the very last day of February. 3, we'll send you all 3 intertwined fates. And then as of what I'm seeing here, nothing else. Basically, what this is telling us is that Genshin Impact, the Genshin Impact team, does not give a shit. And it's sad. We can complain, we can bitch, but the Genshin Impact team is doing what I pretty much have always said they do since the longest time, when we finally realized how stubborn and closed-minded they are. I will say this again, and I have been saying it for a very long time. We learned through that GameSpot article about in-game content how the Genshin Impact team is. Stubborn and closed-minded. They do not care. They will not care. And the only thing they do care about is their own opinion, what they want to do, and 2, money. And that's how they are. So basically, by showing us what the rewards are going to be, this is what they're doing. La 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 la. That is what they're doing every time they hear our complaints. As everyone was making videos and voicing their concerns on whatever platform they want to voice their concerns on, we were all doing our best to voice our concerns about Genshin Impact and the rewards and the end game, but more specifically the rewards. And it creates a split, and it kind of did. A lot of content creators and a lot of people wanted to speak out because they wanted to add their voice to this concern. And some want to be more quiet. They don't want to get involved. And I do not criticize that whatsoever. If you want to just stay in the corner or sit on the fence and just observe, that's fine. That is your right to do so. You have the right to basically stay silent and just sit on the fence and watch. That's cool. I am not going to criticize anyone for doing that. So somebody asked Enviosity. Makes great content. I actually like Enviosity's content, especially his 4-star free-to-play runs in the Spiral Abyss. I think those are good videos. So just so you know, I am actually a fan of Enviosity. Envy. How long are you going to remain as the only content creator, which is not true, he was not the only content creator, not addressing the Genshin situation? And then someone else commented, I don't think he will. He actively stays out of any negativity, coward, or what that's for everyone to think. Me, kind of disappointed. And this is where I'm going to state that when you are a big content creator for a game, in Envy's case, he is a big content creator for Genshin Impact. People are going to want to look to him for his opinion, his thoughts, his concern for the game. And to his credit, I have heard him in the past state his issues with Genshin Impact. But he doesn't do it very often. But that's what I'm getting at, is that when you're a big content creator, people want to know what you think. People want to know what your opinion on stuff is. And it doesn't matter if it's Genshin Impact or in any other game. People want to know what the content, like the big content creators for games, think of whenever there is a situation like this in particular, where the dev team or the company as a whole is in the middle of a shit show. And then Enviosity responds, ironic how people are attacking the guy who is free to play and doesn't spend money on Genshin. One, was on vacation, so had to be filled in with what it was going on. 2, 1-star reviews or unfollowing Genshin won't do shit. Want change? Stop spending money. Big companies only listen to money. Imagine believing Hoyoverse listens to anyone but their CM player base. Let's be real. Let's not forget how many times I've uploaded videos and submitted feedback for change within Genshin that just never happened until 3 years later or not at all. All right. So one, like I said, I don't fault him for sitting on the fence. You have the right to not talk about drama if you don't want to talk about it. If you don't want to get into a shit show, that's your choice, and that is fine. But I think Envy also needs to understand that, like I said, if you are a big content creator for a game, you can't fault people for wanting to hear your opinion. Your opinion, your voice, you have made it a big deal when it comes to this game. People want to hear your thoughts. People want to know what you think, since you have molded yourself to be a part of this whole entity. So, one, they weren't attacking him. And this guy, even if he's brought up the whole thing of being a coward, he wasn't saying it to call him a coward. He was saying, in a sense, if you think he's a coward, that's for that's for everyone to think. Yes, some people might envision him as a coward for not talking, but he wasn't really directly calling him a coward. He was just stating that he was just kind of disappointed. And you can't fault for people for being disappointed if you don't speak about something when you are a big voice to that game. So if Envy was on vacation, that's fine. I can expect people to just kind of disconnect from everything while they're on vacation. But you can't fault people for wanting to hear what you think. And yes, stop by ceasing and stopping spending money on this game. Hell yes. Genshin will notice that and take probably a response to that. But you can't realistically believe that people will stop spending money on the game. In Genshin's case, yes, there's going to be people that are going to stop spending money for the boycott, but they're still going to get revenue because there's still going to be people who are going to be like, I want my 5-star waifu. I'm going to get my 5-star waifu. And in Envy's case, it also seemed, by bringing up that he's free to play, it doesn't really change anything, because yes, you may be a free-to-play player, therefore you're probably not spending as much money on the game as other content creators that happen to be whales, but you also do giveaways, 5-star giveaways, just giving away jades altogether. So by saying, hey, I'm free to play, so you should be doing what I do and stop spending money on the game, well, that kind of comes off as hypocritical because, yes, your main account happens to be free to play, but you spend money on other people's accounts, therefore you spend money on the game. Now, you could be saying that, hey, just be free to play altogether. And yes, like I said, that would probably change things. But coming from someone like yourself who does giveaways, it comes off as hypocritical. But let me get into another instance here. Good old Techone made a huge ass response to Enviosity's claim. And it's going to pretty much cover what I just said. I quote, a couple things, which was more than a couple things. Number one, first off, 2 guys' tweets with 4 likes each hardly constitutes an attack. Yes. And like I said, what they said didn't even constitute an attack to begin with. They were just asking essentially for his opinion, which they had the right to do. 2, I understand you may not want to weigh in, but actively advocating and dismissing everyone else's attempts at bettering the game and communicating with the company is not beneficial at all. Also true. Just because you want to sit on the fence doesn't mean that everyone else's boycott is pointless. Granted, you might have been right. You might have been right. It might have been pointless. But that doesn't mean you have the right to say, hey, stop doing that. It's pointless. If you want to sit on the fence, sit on the fence. That's fine. 3, you may be free to play on Genshin, but you actively do account summons on other people's accounts, which does send money hoyoverse's way. Not saying that I'm guilty. I'm not guilty. But I don't pretend to be innocent. And also promoting the summon hype and also actively C6ing characters on other people's accounts. Already covered this. 4, very weird ego take saying you're the only person who doesn't deserve any criticism whatsoever. Not a good look. And like I said, he's not the only person being quiet about it. So, and he's also not the only free-to-play player. So, it just comes off weird trying to be on a high horse. 5, constantly playing the game and advocating for free-to-play is fine, but you must understand that player retention is a huge deal for negotiating investors sponsoring and investing in your game. That's why having free-to-play players is so important, because free-to-play increases player retention, which increases money, and whales give money directly. 100% true. Player retention is one of the big ways a company tries to negotiate sponsorship deals and any type of deal of that sort. So when they go to say, hey, this is why you should sponsor us, look at our player base. Free-to-play players have to, because they're free-to-play, they have to play for a more actively long period of time, because they are, by being free-to-play, limiting their resources. So they have to play longer in order to accumulate resources. That retention data means this is how many active players we have, which is what sponsors like to see. They love to see an active player base, because that means that is a player base. The bigger the player base, the more likely they're going to get eyeballs on their product. 6, final thoughts. It's okay. It's 100% okay for any creator to not weigh in on the subject, especially if they don't actually like the game. But pretending to like the game and not ask for improvements to keep face is never beneficial. And I think it's more important to be honest with your community. But please, don't dismiss all overseeing and Global's efforts as wasted. Very disrespectful. Truly a sad day on Twitter. In all honesty, everyone just wants the game to improve. Everyone wants the game to be better. I have been advocating for this. I want Genshin to be better because I like the game. I love Genshin Impact as a game. But all I want is the game to improve. That is the essence of constructive criticism. It's just wanting improvement. That's why everyone has advocated for more in-game. That is why everyone has advocated for buffs for particular characters. That is why everyone is advocating for more rewards, because we just want the game to be improved and bettered. And by Envy just saying, hey, stop boycotting, hey, stop even trying to make change for the game because it's not going to happen because we're fucked. That's not only just taking a pessimistic view of things, which I can understand why you would have that pessimistic view, because I mean, look at the company, they don't really give a shit. But it doesn't mean that it's not worth trying. And it shows how passionate the players are for this game. So that's my take on all of this so far. That is my take on this whole boycott, the whole CM player response, the whole global player response. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. You guys have been great. While you're at it, definitely, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that like button, helps get the video out there. Hit that subscribe button, helps grow the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell so you'll be informed whenever I upload any content. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. And I'll catch you guys later.